How are you guys? Having a good day? Yeah? I just want to confirm, am I talking to a room of leaders? Raise your hand if you consider yourself being a leader. You realize you're here on a Saturday without being forced to educate yourself. For me, this is a leader. Are you leader? Please raise your hand if you're here on a Saturday to listen to TED Talks. Yes, you are. Could you then sit as leaders? Yeah, this is like me. I'm a student. I'm still listening to the teacher as always. This is me as a leader. Yeah. Sit straight. Sit straight because if you want to make the most out of your day, you decided to come here instead of being on the beach like everyone your age. So make the most out of these days. And this is not the responsibility of me nor any of the speaker that has been here on stage today. It's your responsibility. Now, I've been your age, I've been a student, and I've thought probably what you think. For me, the idea of a leader has always been associated with the tyrant. You know, the ones who tells you what to do, when to do it. You might be able to think of a teacher like that. You have one in mind. Maybe a boss, like a former employee. Actually, the funny story is, as I was preparing this talk, today we went to a restaurant on the beach. And it was so interesting to witness once again this form of leadership. So there were these two older men, 60 years old, and there was this teenager, 19. And they were overwhelmed. Two of the employees had not come today, and instead of using this young little guy, they were bossing him around constantly. You've done this wrong, go here, go there. And he was trying to go, and he was tall, about my height, but he was like this, trying to be avoided the sight of his two bosses throughout the lunch. It was a very painful experience, but I'm trying to make the most out of it by retelling you this story because I've always thought leaders as being these two bosses. That's the only role model I ever had for leaders. Like dictators or politicians in general, or, you know, this image of the mean boss. And I don't know for you, but for me, this is completely against all my values. I never wanted to be that person that needs, like these two older men, to crush the employees, the people below you, to show that you're a big, strong leader. And I don't want to be that person. So, what I've done, like most people I see, is playing small. Saying, well, you know what, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I think they're as good as I am. So therefore, I won't play big. I'll play small and wait. But interestingly enough, and that's why I'm talking about 21st century leaders, we're seeing a new kind of leadership. And if you even look at politicians, you know, for years they were all kings and warriors, like you call them the king, the mighty, the tyrants, the terror, all men, bloody, and they're like, we would know them just by how many people they have slaughtered. That's how you would rate a CV of a good leader. But even today, it's hard to be a dictator. They realize that it's not working anymore because if you threaten another country, well, they have an atomic bomb, so you're to kind of try to respect them somehow. So threatening is not working anymore for dictators. Maybe there's something to learn here. Maybe we've pushed the button too far with all these red buttons threatening basically the life of humanity. But what about us on this smaller scale? And I'm talking about every single one of you. Well, we have Instagram leaders. Literally, we call the people following them followers. So it's technically a leader. And this is the beauty of what this century is bringing. It's the explosion. Despite of it being more and more connected, there are less and less jobs. So everyone is becoming an entrepreneur. And by seeing the age you have on average in this room, don't hope for a 40-year-long career in the same company. Say bye-bye to that. So that means what? That nobody is going to tell you what to do for the next 40 years. So who is? Not me, yourself. So you have to become the leader of your own life. And by doing this, by becoming a leader for yourself, well, you tend to become a leader for others. And that means doing something we don't like, being on the spotlight. Is there somebody here who likes to be the center of attention? Raise your hand. No? Yes, someone. And I can tell you, when people say they like being the center of attention, they're liars. They like to be the center of attention when they decide to, not randomly. And when you're a leader, you become the center of attention even when you don't want to. Often I go to parties, and if there's someone who's Portuguese, I will speak Portuguese, because I do speak Portuguese. And then there's an Italian, I'll speak Italian. And there's someone from Serbia, I will speak Serbian. And quickly enough, people start asking, but how many languages do you speak? And I say, well, I don't want to lie, so I say 12. And all of a sudden, I get these, wow, you speak 12 languages? Wow, that's amazing. And I quickly change topic because I don't want this attention. But what happens? These people go, tell other people. And I hear that behind my back. So I hear people saying, have you heard this guy? He speaks 12 languages. And I don't know about you, but I have this strange behavior that when people are telling good things about me behind my back, I tend to want to listen, like I'm feeling flattered. Oh, yeah, go on. Talk about me like that. But what happens? The second person comes back. I say, oh, I heard you speak 12 languages. And oh, yeah. What is wrong with me? When they're talking well about me and admire me behind my back, I'm flattered and I want to be part of the conversation. But when I'm actually part of the conversation, I want to run away. And I noticed everyone does that. If I look at you in the eyes and tell you how great you are, for whatever reason, because you're a fantastic cook, because you take care of others, because you're the smartest person in the room, it's nothing. And look at this gesture, and I want you to observe it now. You can't forget it. Nah. We all do that. So it starts from here, from the shoulders. We tend to, no, thank you. I don't want your admiration right now. But why? Why when does someone give us a compliment, we don't want to listen to that compliment? To listen deeply and fully to compliment, you have to be completely open. And we're afraid of doing this because we're afraid that, oh, you're telling me this because you want something. We're afraid of being stabbed in the back. So we put our shields. No, I'm protected. I don't want your attention. I don't want your love. And pay attention. We all do that. So in the next couple of weeks, I invite you to go out there and pay attention to how people react to compliments, especially when that person is you. Do you listen to what people say? Because when people do that, they're actually fueling what they love in you. Because they just want to see more of it. And by refusing these fuel, you can't go on. When people tell me, yeah, this is fantastic, you do all these things, well, if I don't accept this, next time I'm going for a big mission, I don't have any fuel because I don't take the rewards when they come to me. Because these compliments are the rewards. And what does these have to do with leadership? Well, being a leader is being a very fucking bright light that everyone can see. It's going on top of a mountain and being the lighthouse and saying, here, there's a way. Come and meet me. It's fun up here. But if every time you receive compliments, you come down the mountain and say, you know what, it's nothing. It's nothing. Do you think they will come up to follow this journey if you tell them it's not worth it? That's what I've been doing to people when I say learning 12 languages, it's nothing. You can do it too, but it's nothing. When it's actually a lot of work. So I started listening to compliments and how great it was that I do TED Talks and that I go on stages. And I went out trying to impress people about how amazing I am, and especially about public speaking, because that's what I wanted to teach people. So I would go there and impress them. Look, I do this, look, I do that. I can help you with this, I can help you with that. And the answer will always come back being the same. Yes, this is very interesting, I'd love to, but... So, wait a minute. You're giving me a compliment about how great it is. You want me to keep on as a leader, but then you don't want to follow me. What's wrong? And it took me a while to understand, because I was never asking them what was wrong. I was always asking myself and trying to new different strategy. You want this, you want that, you want this, you want that? They were never listening to me. So I started asking them, what do you want? Where do you want to go? How can I help you? Without projecting anything that I have to offer to them. Maybe they say, I don't know what I want, but I don't want your help. And you have to be open to this and not being hurt by this rejection. And this is a very, very vulnerable position, because it's telling people, you know what? I just don't know. I literally don't know. And by doing this, I started going out and meeting people and asking them one after the other, you know what? I don't know. Can you teach me? And I started finding masters after a literal life of being a self-taught person. Languages, public speaking, I taught myself everything. But I found the limit, because there's just only so much you can do on your own. But it's hard to change and acknowledge you were wrong or you didn't know in front of other people. When I was 6 or 8, I didn't like chocolate. I told my mother, I told my family, I don't like chocolate, so don't bother. But my mother, because we're two, she wanted to be equal. So if she would buy chocolate for my brother, she would buy chocolate for me. So she would buy white chocolate, because let's agree, white chocolate is not chocolate. So I could still eat white chocolate without betraying the truth I have decided, which is I don't like chocolate. It's white chocolate, it's not chocolate. Then she would bring a Kinder. Kinder has white chocolate on the inside, so it's fine. And no, Mom, I still don't like chocolate, but I want the toy. So I could still go on with being true to honor the truth I had given to the world, I don't like chocolate. And then Easter came, obviously. My grandmother would buy some chocolate. It's the same. I just eat it. It's just to please grandmother. It's not because I like chocolate. And my mother would come, now you like chocolate. No, I still don't like it. Well, eventually, because I actually liked it very much, as every child, I had to acknowledge in front of my mother, I do like chocolate. Do you have any idea how much that hurt? Did you have to face someone and say, you know what, you were right, I was wrong? How often do you do that? That's the only moment where you feel that you grow. When you literally can face people and say, and publicly coming on a stage like that, in being in the spotlight and saying, you know what? I don't know. Because this is very much about leadership. Imagine that we're all entering a room, and we're all entering with the armor, the helmet, the sword, the shield, and everyone is entering like that. How do we feel? Do we feel in a safe environment? Do you feel like you can trust other people in the room? If you're the leader, you have to be the first one to put down the weapon, the shield, the armor, the helmet, and say, can we talk now? People mirror you. If I smile, you will smile. But if I'm wearing an armor, you will wear yours. As a leader, you are the first one, and that's a scary thing. You have to be the first one starting the journey. And it is a scary journey, because if you're a leader, you don't know where you're going. Like when you're Christopher Columbus, you might have this crazy idea that on the other side of this pond, there's India, but you don't know. Yet, you start the motion. You have to be the first one to say, guys, follow me, because he cannot go there on his own. You imagine Christopher Columbus on a little raft. No, he has to convince kings to invest. He has to convince sailors to come with him on this crazy adventure without knowing where it's going. And I can see on your faces, the normal face is, I don't want to be a leader. Because this means I will need to have followers. This means I need to have the responsibility for other people behind me. And yes, you do have this responsibility, whether you want it or not. Because if you sit in the corner of this room, you're also a model. You're a model of weakness. You're a model for others to say, you know what? It's hard. And that's what other people will think too because of you. So if you want to believe it's easy and that you can achieve anything you want, be the first one to do it. You have this responsibility, because if you don't have role models, it means you need to be the role model for others. Because there are other people behind you that don't have the courage that you have to come on a Saturday afternoon, and sunny, and instead of being on the beach, they are here in this room. Embrace this role. And as I said many times, it's a tough journey. And that's why you need to surround yourself with fellow leaders, a tribe. And I couldn't have done this on my own. And I often gather with friends, and I was doing these last week, where we all support each other. Because I don't know if you've gone on a weekend with friends, but if you're the one taking care of everything, of the food, the accommodation, the destination, the beach you're going to, this is tiring. You want also sometimes to sit in the back of the car and just snooze. And trust others that you will reach a beautiful destination. So it's very important to surround yourself with the right people. To wrap things up, the first thing I want you to do is to embrace your light. Because I know that you are unique and you have something others need to hear. You need to be the first one to shine. Then be vulnerable. It means allowing yourself to be weak in front of others. Then accept your position as a role model, and that people need you to know the direction. And finally, find your tribe, because you cannot go on this journey on your own. Once again, this is either you decide to be a leader today, or you will be a follower of tomorrow. And I believe that by being in this room, you've already done the first step towards being a leader. So don't stop your journey now. Thank you.